continuing on, we are going into one of the greatest sequels a superhero movie could ask for, and that is Sam Raimi's Spider Man 2. Now, Spider Man established the blueprint for superhero movies, right? But then Spider Man 2 really perfected it. And directed again by Sam Raimi, the sequel is still widely regarded as one of the greatest superhero films ever made. And it's crazy because there's been 22 years of other superhero movies since then, and Spider Man 2 still is in this conversation. It took everything that made the first movie work, the heart, the action, the humor, and the emotional storytelling, and elevated it to the next level. Now, it has been considered the golden standard comic book film. Now, is it still the golden standard comic book film? There has been a lot of movies to really go against the grain, and I do think Spider-Man 2 was just such a good, like, so great, right? And it is, I think it's exactly 2 years after the first one, and Peter's life is starting to fall apart. While he has embraced being Spider-Man, the aspects of his personal life are starting to fall to pieces. He's constantly late to work, falling behind in school, struggling financially. He's drifting away from his friend Harry, and watching Mary Jane move on to to Jameson's kid, Jameson's son. Now, Peter does want a normal life, but every time he tries to prioritize himself, the world needs Spider Man. And meanwhile, brilliant Dr. Otto Octavius develops a revolutionary fusion reactor. We call that the tritium. That promises limitless energy that'll be clean. During a public demonstration, that thing goes south, and obviously it kills Mrs. Octavius, and it fuses those four advanced mechanical arms to his body. The accident also damages that inhibitor chip that allows him to control them, and which means now the artificial intelligence tentacles can do as they please and kind of control him. Now, the grief and the obsession really turns Dr. Otto Octavius, one of the most brilliant doctors of his time, into Dr. Octopus. That's what we're seeing go forward. Now, as Dr. Octopus is attempting to recreate that failed experiment, Peter faces that greater internal battle. That web block from No Way Home, that web block, and is exhausted by those sacrifices that come with being Spider-Man. He actually starts to lose his powers and questions whether he should continue living as a hero. Now, that part is cool because I like the development requirement of that whole situation. I do love the fact that as Doc Ock is kind of starting to rise, Spider-Man is starting to fall. And it's kind of just like this cool dynamic. And the film ultimately asks that simple question: can Peter Parker have the life he wants and still be Spider-Man? Now, if you ask me, every movie kind of lands on yes, but this was the first movie to really ask that question in a way where it's kind of perfected the art of where I think a superhero sequel should go. And I definitely think that Winter Soldier kind of pulled from this in the best possible way. Winter Soldier is one of the best MCU movies to date. And I do think that that same question is Cap able to be Captain America in the future and be happy and all these things. I think Winter Soldier kind of pulled from Spider Man 2, if you ask me. That's just my personal opinion. Now, and unlike those other superhero sequels, it just simply raises the stakes to like a bigger villain or like just a bigger battle that we're leading towards. But Spider Man 2 kind of grew deeply, and that responsibility and sacrifice and identity are also there, but they're there to the max now because now he has to decide if he can be Peter Parker and be Spider Man. He has to deal with the responsibility of maybe he doesn't have to do this all the time and these things just happen, and whether it was worth sacrificing his life for MJ at the end of the first one. Now, he isn't struggling because the villain is stronger than before, because I don't think Doc Ock is stronger than Goblin physically. I do think Doc Ock is stronger than Goblin mentally. He is one of Spider Man's most dangerous villains. But the problem with Peter in this movie is that Spider Man is costing him everything. It's costing him jobs, class grades, love, and he has to sacrifice everything he owns or loves or has to do for himself to protect or save somebody else. Now that is like already a deeper story. And can I just throw in in the beginning with Aunt May, played by the wonderful Rosemary Harris, who is still Aunt May to me as well. That scene where she's telling Peter to take this money, I think that scene is just it's just brilliant. I think that scene is oh god, Spider-Man 2 is so good, bro. Spider-Man 2 is fire, bro. Just like how I feel about Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 is legitimately fire and better than 1 in every possible way. It is just one of the greatest sequels to a superhero movie. If I ever haven't said it, which I did at the beginning, I'm saying it again. Now, I do believe Spider-Man 2 is Tobey Maguire's best performance. I do consider Tobey's strongest performance as Peter Parker is in this movie. He really captured the exhaustion of someone trying to carry that impossible weight of expectation. And the moments where he smiles, laughs, or simply enjoys life, they're like increasingly rare, making the emotional journey feel real, more authentic. And I think Tobey Maguire does a great job in this film doing that. And when Peter chooses to give up being Spider-Man, you genuinely can understand why. He's losing his powers, he's fed up, he's tired. And if you look at the movie as a whole, he is a lot more on. Like he's a lot more on point. He's a lot more there for stuff. He's more active. He's just genuinely more upbeat, and he has to just get stuff done. I do think one of the sad these sequences is when he's walking down the street and someone's getting attacked in an alleyway. He looks at the person and he just kind of walks away. Now that scene is rough, but it actually makes sense. He's not Spider-Man anymore, and the scene that I love the most following that scene is when he goes into the burning building to save the child, and he saves the child, and he gets out, and people are like, "Wow, that was cool." And he finds out someone on the top floor above him where he went didn't make it out. That scene is so good because it's like if he was Spider Man, he could have saved that person. It's like, oh, that topsy turvy of like, was it worth it? Did the end justify the means, bro? It's done so well. And I do love the fact that when he decides to be Spider Man again, it felt earned. It felt worth it. It felt like yeah, he's Spider Man again. It felt necessary and it felt inevitable, but in a good way. Like it felt like he earned it inevitably. Like it you guys get what I'm saying. Dog, this movie gets me all jittery, and the famous "I'm back" scene. He slams into the car. That scene, I pissed myself in the theater when I first saw that because I thought it was the funniest thing on earth. Also, going into the scene where he puts his suit in the trash and walks away, that is straight up the Spider Man No More cover, and I think they did it really well. It's like a little Easter egg there. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Alfred Molina's Octopus because this is still my favorite villain from the original trilogy. I think on a rewatch, I was like, damn, Doc Ock has done so well. He's done incredibly well. It's a nice little twist. It's a nice little twist on the character, and it's done to maximum success. And like Willem Dafoe, like I said, Goblin's great in the first movie. He gave us one of the greatest villains. Alfred Molina delivered another one. He like Sam Raimi was two for two at this point, and he is a tragic figure. So they take Norman Osborn, who's a little more scumbag, but you kind of understand why he is trying to go out and take people out because they get them dirty. You genuinely just feel bad for Doc Ock because it was just him trying to do something good that ended up going south and lost his wife in the process. That's way more depressing than Goblin losing some company pull. But he became the film as a mentor, a friend to Peter, making his transformation a lot more painful. Unlike a lot of comic book antagonists, his motivations are actually a little understandable. He's driven by grief, ambition, and the belief that his work can still change the world. When you do something like that and it goes down the wrong way, you tend to kind of change a little bit. Alfred Molina delivers such a good performance, and I do want to throw out the fact that I think the choice of puppetry mixed with CGI to make the Doc Ock tentacles work, I think that was a much better decision to work with. I think that was a Very smart choice. It gave the tentacles a little more of an authentic look slash feeling. They looked a lot more alive than they would have otherwise did. Like I thought it worked, even if the CGI in Spider-Man 2 is 2004, so they still have limited CGI. Right? It just is what it is. Now, it is a nice comparison between the two, and I think both actors deliver some great performances on top of Raimi's direction, on top of Raimi's vision, on top of the writing, on top of the score. Spider-Man 2 does everything in spades. Now, we are going into something special because I think that Spider-Man 2 is packed with just it's packed with so many great moments. Let's be honest, the whole him putting on the suit and going to fight Doc Ock and the train and stopping the train, let's be honest, that whole like 10, 12 minute sequence is awesome. And there's like an unrated version or like a director's cut of Spider-Man 2 where that fight's even more violent, and it's awesome. It is so awesome. Like if you haven't seen the director's cut of Spider-Man 2, if you can find it anywhere, watch it. It is way more violent in that fight in the director's cut. Let's see. Yo, Peter, there's so many like bruh. Doc Ock sacrificing himself is probably one of the best villain moments still to this day. MJ MJ just finding out that he's Spider Man is honestly like one of the most well done things because usually stuff like that is done and it's stupid or it's just not emotionally drawn at all. But I think it's done really well here when she finds out that he's Spider Man. It's like, yeah, he's, and she kind of, it kind of makes sense because she does kind of think about it at the end of Spider Man 1 after she kisses him at the graveyard. She's kind of like, wait a minute. But it's not really, it's kind of like left in the air. So it comes back in two. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so many things done in one is just exacerbated even better and just worked on more in two to make two so much more of a better sequel. And it's like, bruh, nearly every emotional scene I think in Spider-Man 2 is still great and holds up today. And does Spider-Man 2 still hold up? I say yes. I would say Spider-Man 2 still holds up. I do, like I said, it came out in 2004, so the CGI is a little bad, but the storytelling, the performances, some of the practical effects, the emotional core, it's actually still solid. The chain sequence is still considered one of the greatest action scenes in superhero movie history because it is. That was the coolest scene in a superhero movie at the time. I mean, like, let's think about it. Let's see, X-Men 2. Okay, there's a lot of really great scenes in X-Men 2. X-Men 1 has some good scenes. Spider-Man 1 has some great scenes. But this scene right here was like, bruh, we can do this right now in 2004. Like, you see what I'm saying? And again, Danny Elfman's score coming in to do the damn thing. So I would definitely submit that Spider-Man 2, for many fans, critics, filmmakers, and comic book readers, it's still one of the greatest superhero movies and Spider-Man movies ever made. It's one of the best sequels ever put out there, and it just did everything right. I can't think of anything wrong with Spider-Man 2. I mean, other than hey, don't hurt Peter, and then he throws him through a wall instantly, and like, thank God he was Spider Man, I guess. And like his powers coming back right when he needed them to. It's like, yeah, sure, but it's still awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel dumb or weird or forced or, like everything felt earned in Spider Man 2. So I could at least give it the pass on that one. So, bro, go back and watch Spider Man 2. It's definitely Tobey Maguire's best performance, and Alfred Molina's fantastic. He is. So Spider Man 2 is, I can't go on, and it's a benchmark that superhero films continue to kind of use as a ground point, but also tends to like measure up against, even still to this day. So, with that being said, let me know how you guys feel down below. Like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all in the next one.